there, and welcome to the Performance Cafe. So this month seems to be about time. I don't know if Father Time has tickled me or what has happened, but everything seems to be coming around to taking time. And I feel like the theme that's developing is also about taking time to think, to ponder, to consider. I've been talking a lot about this rush culture. We're really addicted to it. We want to be seen as busy. People want to be seen as busy. It's seen as an important thing. But I sometimes wonder if in this we actually ponder what we're rushing to. Now, probably around 2018, 2019, I did a course at Gibbs on scenario planning and strategy. And what I really loved about this course was fabulous. But what I really loved about it was the emphasis that was placed on take the time to get the business's strategy right. So often it's kind of like, okay, can we quickly do strategy in half a morning? It's like, actually, no. No, we need to engage. We need to think. We need to consider external drivers, internal drivers. We need to understand where we're going. What is our future vision? And none of this can happen in this disposable culture of ours. None of this can happen in our fast, breezy, rushing hustle culture of the more I do, the better it will be. Because let's face it, the more you do is fine. But if you're not doing it all in the same direction, you're actually just spreading your efforts and your impact. And actually, you'll do a lot more to get a lot less. And I think there's something about being said on the same line for our personal strategy. So not just the company strategy, but our life goals and our life strategies and plans, and how we don't take the time to not only think through them, but also there's often not enough self-love, self-compassion to support us to get there. So in essence, we treat ourselves poorer than what we do our cars, because we will never get into a car and try and drive it without fuel or oil, because we know it'll get damaged. But we don't do the same for ourselves, do we? So where do we get lost? Well, it's the age of distraction. Everyone's telling us about it, so that must be it. And I kind of agree in that I think somewhere between being extraordinarily busy and being incredibly distracted, I think our lack of clarity on where we want to go and what we want to do sometimes trips us up. So we don't take the time to think through where we want to go, what it means to us, what is the purpose of it, how does it align with our values, right? We don't do that. We just get into a job and go, oh, I want to make money. Boom. But what else? What else is there? What more is there that we could achieve? Now, I hear all of you saying, but we do have plans for our lives. We service that car, we take the kids to school, we cook, we clean, we have careers, we have hobbies, and that's all good and well. And keep all of those things. They are beautiful and they make your life full and pleasant, more often than not. But I want to ask you, if you are on a road, don't you think that those would actually be the road signs that are just flashing past you if you don't know where that road is meant to end? If you don't have a keen understanding of what's at the end of that road and what does it mean for me and why is it important? Heavens, is it still important if you set goals in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and 50s and you're still chasing the same goals? Just check. Are they still the goals that you want them to be? And so I said, it's this concept of strategy, of goals, of planning, thinking through where do I want to be before I set these things in place remains most important. So I want to come back to the distractions, because we all know that between telephones, emails, social media, individuals in the office, individuals away from the office, my dog's constantly barking, there always are distractions and there always will be. I'm not saying we can block them out. Some we can. Hello to social media and putting off those alerts. But what we can do is, if we understand where we're going, what that goal is, we can understand what our values are. And once we understand what our values are around that, then we have the ideal opportunity to use that to filter and prioritize. And that's how I know that this scrolling through Facebook, looking at other people's holiday photos, is not going to bring me any closer to my dream holiday. Best, I should be working and earning a buck. At the same time, we can also start seeing how what we're taking in, how that information we're taking in. So many people say we shouldn't be reading the news. How does that affect us? Is that a valid distraction? Does that help me get to where I want to be or not? Now, we all have to be well-informed citizens of the world. But do we have to read every opinion piece about one moment in time? Maybe not. And then we can ask ourselves, unless that opinion piece, like in my case, is about work from home, where I actually use that information in my business, that fulfills my purpose, that aligns to my values and my needs, maybe at this time, I don't have to read that. So what I'd like to ask you is, be wise about where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and what you need to get you there. Firstly, in attaining the goal. Secondly, in getting yourself there in a healthy, happy, hale and hearty way, right? Burnout actually does not serve anyone, not businesses and not people. So let's make sure that those values help us to make sure we're not distracted and that we don't harm ourselves in the process of fulfilling these goals. So, as always, I hope you've enjoyed this perspective. I'd like to hear any thoughts or comments on it. As always, there's a little button somewhere at the bottom of the page here, and if you want to, you can just click on it and you can subscribe. Otherwise, please also do click on the notification bell so that you can see when we release our videos every week. And then if you're joining us from LinkedIn and Facebook, it is great to see you here. Please like and share and comment. We love to see you. We love to see your comments and thoughts on those platforms as well. And then until next time, maybe we'll take a look at what happens in rush culture. And I look forward to discussing that with you at the next Performance Cafe. I'm running out of coffee. You can edit out the joking.
I'll put it in the blooper.
Oh, it would be so funny. It would actually be funny if you put it in the end, see if people actually watch the end.